Hello, this is Cynthia Ortiz. These are the Charles Perry Stalker Podcasts. It is 6:22 p.m. Charles Perry, David Roberson, Stalking, Human Trafficking Podcast. Are you human traffickers? Are you stalking? Do you get in, invade people's privacy, you victims? Cloning phones, hacking, uh, voyeurism, and you're involved in sex crimes, drug cartel, all that stuff, organized crime, basically, or Oklahoma, Texas mafia working together. Is that what you're doing? Um, I mean, you either are or you're not, and you thought you sold me. You're trying desperately to deliver, and you got caught. See, most victims don't know they've been sold before, and to who, and where the guy lives and what he does for a living. But I do know that, and everybody's kind of scratching their heads as to why you seem not to understand what it means that we know that. We knew it last year, we knew it long ago. So, we do know that Mr. Perry was, I guess the other night, someone called over to Mays County Sheriff's Department and said, she's at that club, arrest her right now so that Mr. Perry can announce his candidacy for governor. So, arrest her for what? He said, we need her to shut up. She's talking about the truth too much, and we can't have that. And we can't have the media getting to her, and we can't have her to have access online. We need her locked in a dungeon so that we can run our guy for the governor of Texas, who says he's a Christian, who says he's a Baptist church deacon, who says he's a happily married family man, and he's full of shit on all of that. So, in order for that to be kept quiet, we want you to break the law, go illegally detain her again to keep her quiet, and whoever they talked to made a logical observation, as police often do if they're any good at their job, and he said, I need to understand this right. Does that not look like you're doing exactly what she's already said this, that you guys are trying to do this? Who got that from you to her? Where is that? What courtroom has that been heard in? Maybe for a probable cause hearing. I'm paraphrasing. For a probable cause hearing to get some sort of investigatory. Who has it? Is there media that has it? Because I think she said they do. What is going on? I mean, it looks like every time he's got to run for something, he wants her in jail. And you don't think people would think that was a little fishy? That he has something to hide? That she's telling the truth because she has been saying, it's another I told you so. Well, we can't have media get to her. Media, there's 12 reporters in the need to know, to a limited extent. You don't have control over that. I'm sorry. I understand that you guys are billionaires, Billionaire Boys Club or whatever, and you've run the state in many ways in both Texas and Oklahoma, and you ruin lives and you just don't give a shit. And you're entitled and all that. But I think that when I first got home after that first false arrest you did, when I got arrested for trying to get a protective order. I lived in Oklahoma then. I live in Oklahoma now. I was then subjected to Oklahoma law as I am now. They had me charged in Texas for trying to get a protective order, illegally detained for 2 months, and then had my mugshot smeared everywhere. Then dropped the charges, but of course the media has never reported my side of that story because they made sure they didn't. But that doesn't mean it won't. That does not mean it's not going to happen in the future. There are 12 reporters. 3 of them are not in the United States. You guys have a crime that is international. So there's that. You're caught when you do the crime to me every time. When I had the McNamara email in which I'm telling on October 29th, 2015, I'm telling my ex-husband, Charles Perry is threatening me with false arrest, to coerce, to buy a lie. And The false arrest was not until January 29th. The charges were filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a senator. Okay, well, you have to file a police report in Oklahoma to get a protective order. It's not, you don't have a choice. That is the law. As a citizen of Oklahoma, I'm subject to those laws. And they obstructed justice. I did not get an investigation. The police did not call me to come in and give a statement and show them my evidence and get a blood test to rule out arsenic poisoning or confirm it. So there was no log of evidence that I provided. There was no collection of it properly. There was no investigation. They obstructed it. So why do you think that? Why would they do that unless they wanted something hidden like an arsenic test that might come up in my blood because they were trying to kill me? You only attack someone who is a witness or a victim to try to make them change their story if they're telling the truth and you need a lie. There is no reason to attack someone who tells what you once said. You're only going to attack a person who is telling the truth, and the truth is inconvenient for you. Otherwise, there is not one reason to tamper with a witness or even communicate with a witness. So this conduct is clearly illegal, offensive, and improper. And we have gotten all that. I mean, I had the information before. If someone is threatening you with death and false arrest, you need a protective order. I had already tried, and I forgot, of all things, my police report. I did take the case number and the officer's name that I filed it with, but I forgot the report, and the judge denied me in part for that very reason. A few months later, that was May 2015, a few months later, I'm threatened with, you are going to lie and recant your claims, or I'm going to put you in the lake. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you will. Tough guy who picks on women to feel tough. Listen, I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know how you know I was at work, but for some illegal something you're up to. If you're the hired hitman, gosh, you want to kill me? I'm right here. Go to work. I mean, I'm not going to put up with your shit. I don't know. I get that you don't know me and you don't know who I am or who I know, and I don't care. I fucking don't care. So they did start trying to kill me with arsenic, and then you do what anybody who is a victim of attempted murder does, being threatened with false arrest and death. You go get a protective order. So that those individuals have to be restrained by a court. Violating that court would then be a felony. So how did this guy know me? How did he know where I was and what day I was working and all that stuff to go into my workplace and say that to me? I texted Fabian, the individual in Texas that I was interested in dating, that Mr. Perry butt into that thing, and told him, here's what the guy said, because he talked to me about you. Here's what he said. And, so I've documented in that way. That conversation happened on that night because I'm telling Fabian about it. But these guys are bad. We get it. Everybody's kind of baffled at how does she know that this is Oklahoma Mafia, this is Texas Mafia, this is cartel, this is, yes, I get it. I'm perfectly aware of what I'm against. You're not aware of what you're up against. That's the funny thing. We think that is funny as hell. You've completely underestimated us and your situation. You're not getting it. See, we get the help, not you. If you have that much power, then you would need to get your cartel people and your little minion group of sex weirdos together and come to grips with reality by looking at what we have done over the course of 10 years. Because what I said to you then in 2016 is, you have gotten away with this all your life. Not this time. At that point, we already had the McNamara email. We already had the Fabian puzzle. Since then, we quote you every day. I wasn't supposed to know I was trafficked. I wasn't supposed to know who I was trafficked to. I'm not supposed to know that right now you're up on another delivery deadline that you've had to extend and extend and right? You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who you're up against. You're not in reality. A lot of you guys are old and you're senile and you're making mistakes, and it has helped us like you don't even know. Charles has Huntington's disease. That's another thing I wasn't supposed to find out. But he's got police and law enforcement up his ass. David Roberson does, Calvin does, Lucius does, all those guys do. All those, and the more you go at me, the more we get. And he has given you your shovel and said, dig away. We're going to let you do what you do until your hole is so fucking deep. All we have to do is bury you in it. You dug it yourself. You're down there in the bottom. Bury him in a courtroom. It has been so easy, it's not fair. Often that happens with criminals when they get old, they start making mistakes. Cartel, we don't give a shit about. Human trafficking, we do. If you got something with the cartel, you deal with that. We don't give a shit about the cartel. We're not paying any attention to that at all. The drug cartel is not our thing. We're worried about the sex exploitation, human rights violations of women and children, and the human trafficking, and that's it. Your cartel bullshit is your problem. We don't give a fuck. Really don't give a fuck. Okay? So, if they're after you because you promised them money after you sold me and you got paid, your problem, David. You're a grown man, aren't you? You got power, don't you? You fix your own problem. Okay? Not my problem. This right here I want to speak to real quick. When we quote you every day and you just had a big meeting. We haven't been able to get to her driver's license because she found out we wanted her driver's license. So she keeps it right with, pretty much sleeps, pretty much glued to her body. We have 24/7, and that's not wrong. But you'd have to be a video voyeur. You'd have to be a peeping Tom to know that. There's not a lot that you found out or that you know about me or that you've said about me that you could explain that you know outside of being a peeping Tom, which is rape, and it is a criminal act. There's so many. What's one more, right? Who told me you wanted my driver's license? Who told me you wanted my social security card? The guys told me they want your social security card, get it out of your wallet. I forgot. About a week or so later, they call me. They're talking about having your social security card. Did you forget to take it out of your wallet like we told you? And I was like, shit, I did. They got it. They're talking about it right now. They want to get a passport for you. Forge it. They got a forged marriage license, we found out, from Chief Miller. Can't put a bumper sticker on her car because they know they heard us talking about we need to mark her car so that when we're following her we can tell that's her. Okay, all the things that human traffickers do. They stalk to traffic. They have to control the lives of they actually think they own a person. It is illegal to own a person in the United States. It comes with the same sentence as murder in some states. But you kill people too, so what difference does it make to you, right? But in 2016, I said to you, you have gotten away with this all your life. You have really hurt a lot of people badly in a way they'll never get over. And you don't care. You just don't give a fuck. Bunch of psychopaths. Completely abnormal as it gets. And you've gotten away with it all this time, but not this time. Watch this. And all of a sudden, you guys are running all around. How'd she know? How'd she find out about that? How'd she know? One of Charles's guys said when Charles pesters her and takes her money, things do not go well for us. We're seeing things happen we've never seen before happen. We've never seen this before. This has never happened before. We're getting caught. Who's doing this? Who's after us? Call LAPD. Call NYPD. Call Louisiana. Call Memphis. Call El Paso. Right? We've heard it. You're under 24/7 surveillance. You invade my privacy, they can invade yours too. They have a court order, you don't. Okay, so I mean, if you can't take the medicine that you dish out, don't dish it out. And quit being a girl about it when it comes right back at you. Karma is in all religions. That's why it's very important you treat people like you want someone to treat you, because you already put you. So even if you look at, let's say, mafia, Giancana took responsibility for the murder of JFK and his brother. They hired people to do it. Okay, so and they've done a major analysis of JFK's assassination, and it looks like they could have. It was common knowledge in Vegas they did, because JFK got the mafia to help him get elected. The unions, they got the unions. They were buying votes. They get him elected. He gets into office. He puts Bobby in as the attorney general. He then starts trying to put them all in jail. Okay, well you can't do that to the mafia and live to tell about it. I mean, you can't. If you lived in Vegas, you would know that you don't cross the mafia in Vegas, or back then for sure. Then Sinatra's working for Giancana at the Sands. He invites the president to come stay at his home, does some remodeling, and the president cancels at the last minute. And boy, that pissed him off. You can't do shit like that. I mean, there's some respect. People in the mafia expect respect. I show you respect, you show me respect. I take care of you, you take care of me. It's like that. And for whatever reason, they made a choice to go after them. And I don't know. I mean, I think that part of it was the stigma of, well, the mafia put you in the office, and they had some leverage problems. But both of them were shot in the head, as was Giancana. Giancana was also shot in the head. I mean, you're off your nut if you just think that Clinton has and Anthony Weiner and Sam Weinstein and all these guys and Roger Ailes, all these guys who and Epstein had some sick sex problems that they were not in control of. They had no power over them, and they were very, very offensive. And Clinton, I mean, it just, if Clinton can't get away with it, what the hell do you think you could? Podunk nobody from small town Texas, nothing. I mean, we're just out of loss as to you don't have any logic. But somebody got very upset with him for the cruelty that he's imposed upon me. And the guy said, Charles does not want Cynthia to know he has Huntington's disease. And I'm tired of watching him terrorize her. And I'm tired of watching him torment her. And I'm tired of watching him try to ruin her. So make sure she finds out. We're sick of this. Everybody's sick of this. Why did he even come up here? And that's a good question. He wasn't invited here. I moved from Lubbock to the Dallas area to get away from him. In 2011, I have Facebook messages telling my friends he's getting creepy. He's going weird. And I may have to move. And 2011, long before I could anticipate he was going to, go into court and lie so that I'd be illegally incarcerated for 2 months and smeared in the news. Because he need a... Anyways, I just, I couldn't have anticipated he was going to lie about that. I didn't, 5 years into the future. I'm not a psychic. So, I don't even read horoscopes. This is not my, I'm documenting what's happening at the time. There's no conversations or tweets or Facebook, nothing political. The guy's driving up behind my house and watching me in my backyard and showing up at restaurants where I frequent with, on the dates that I frequent there. Sometimes if I'm not there looking for me, that is stalking, and I may have to move. So, and then he came to the Dallas area and he butts into somebody I'm interested in dating. And then I move again to Oklahoma where my family is. I came home to Oklahoma. Nobody invited him here. I came here to get away from all that. I don't know David Roberson. I don't know this Calvin guy. I've heard he's fat and bald and everybody hates him. He's an asshole. He's an asshole is what I heard. Lucius, don't know him. I didn't pick a fight. You did. You don't even know who you're fighting. So, we quote you every day. We're just like, what? Charles, Charles, we'll just do it more. Just do it anyway. Just do it. She already knows. Just do it more. And everybody's like, oh my God, wow. Okay, this guy's not all there. They're just not. And then complains when we find out again and again and again. Well, we can't get her driver's license because she found out before. We can't get her to put a bumper sticker on her car to mark it because she found out before. We try to put her in jail and she finds out before. Again, and we try to, it's, I'm quoting judges. You went duck hunting with Judge Cummings. Judge Cummings was the judge on my federal lawsuit for the illegal incarceration. He shouldn't have even been hearing it. All that shit happened in Oklahoma. But interestingly enough, the federal judge in Oklahoma was from Lubbock, Texas. That's not fishy. That's not fishy at all. You act like you think everybody's as dumb as you, and they're not. In fact, they're getting very irritated at all of you because you're lying, and you know you're lying, and everybody else knows you're lying, and you act like you think people believe you. And it speaks to your delusion. They don't. They fucking just... I've been in many situations, especially working in a strip club, where you're talking to somebody and you know they're lying to you. And I dismiss myself from that as fast as I can. I'm not going to argue with someone who is going to lie to me. And they know I know they're lying. They'll lie to you about the color of your own hair, color of your own eyes. And you're just like, oh my God, wow. You are some kind of... I get the fuck out of my face. So basically, you're not going to waste your time on that. You're going to walk off. I'll pretend I believe you if it will make you shut up and go away so that I can go on to the next thing I have to do today. Because I'm not going to sit here and argue with you and you're going to lie, because you can't solve a problem by your lying and you're insulting my intelligence. And I have no time for that at all. You are wasting my time. I've done that more times than I can count. I just won't have the conversation because they're going to sit there and lie, and I don't have time. I know they're lying. I'm done. We're done. You're not here to solve the problem. You're going to lie to me, and that's not going to solve the problem. So let's not waste all your time and my time, and let's just go on to the next thing. So do you not think that's what people do to you? Especially when they've seen how you've done what you've done to me, and what you did to Mike Neely, and what you did to Lucky Miller. You think they're not going to tell you what you want to hear and say something else completely behind your back? You really are delusional. All right, so Huntington's disease, by the way, causes paranoia, delusion, hallucination, psychosis, and impaired cognitive reasoning. So Mr. Perry can't get cause and effect. When you do the crime to me, you get caught. That's never happened before. And you go, let's do it more. Let's do it more. All right, suit yourself. Suit yourself. Dig that hole, however deep you want it to go. No skin off our nose. When you get nice and deep in there, they'll just bury you in it in the courtroom. So we're whatever. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about this for a minute. So okay, I ran into a Tulsa police officer and asked him about this article here, and didn't tell him who I was. I gave no specifics about my situation. Didn't say anything about anything. It was a very general conversation. And guess what he said? He had a different opinion than what this survey said. Completely different opinion on what the problem is. That's not to say that there might be some inconsistencies in discipline. When you have people, they're going to be inconsistent. Everybody does things differently. Always there's going to be the guy that goes, it's not fair. Well, and always there's going to be the guy that says it is fair. It should be as fair as possible, no question. But when you got people are people, and they're gonna develop better rapport with some people than others, and they're gonna be more skewed towards the people they develop rapport with better than others. That's just part of life. I'm not sure some of the questions were fair unless there is a blatant, straight up policy, and that policy was blatantly violated. Then sometimes you get situations that are a gray area, and one person might go, well, that I'm not sure that warranted the discipline that you applied. It seemed like maybe you're being unfair, and so there needs to be a constant review of fairness and equality in any organization, no question. But overall, this is what this guy said to me, is the problem with being a police right now is people don't like police. So it's hard for that. And the second thing is, we arrest somebody, they go get a slap on the wrist, and they're right back out, and then we got to arrest them again, and they're right, go get another slap on the wrist, and they're right back out. And I go, well, that's the prosecutor's fault. And he said, right, it's the It's very frustrating as a police officer to have to deal with that. Okay, so prosecutors typically have not much money, no pay. They don't make a lot of money, and they got a stack of shit on their desk, and it's become a deal factory. And so they do get a slap on the wrist. And like this guy from Quick Trip that was prosecuted for grand larceny, stealing beer, he's given a 2-year deferred. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why arrest him and sentence him to some time or something that will deter him from doing that again? A 2-year deferred. What led to that decision? Things like that make even the citizens go, what that? Oh, wow. No, and so that must be, he'll do it again, and he'll be arrested again, and taxpayers are paying for all that. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, why, maybe some, not all, of the morale problem with police has nothing to do with the policing. It's the prosecutor. The prosecutor's stuck with tons and tons of cases and not enough, pay for whatever they need to do. They're good people to prosecute and so forth, and to go to trial and all that. So we just got a deal factory going. And we got revolving doors at the jails and so forth, and reoffend. I mean, it's a mess. It needs to be, revamped. But there, this doesn't necessarily mean it's Chief Franklin's fault. The thing with Chief Franklin is that we have to talk about problems in Tulsa and in Oklahoma if we want to fix them, and if we want to, Bobby Kennedy did say, you're gonna get the kind of criminals you deserve. Any community will get the kind of criminals you deserve, and you'll get the kind of law enforcement you insist on. And people don't like police right now. Louisiana declared a state of emergency because they don't have enough cops, and their crime is up. So people are not wanting to be police right now. Then you're stuck with a situation where you got 200, maybe, I'm just giving an example. You got 200 guys, officers, male, female, officers on your roll call, and you need 300, and you got, several of them that really you need to cut them loose because they're not getting it done. And there may be a lot of disciplinary complaints on one person, and if it's a lot on one person, then it's his fault, not the citizens, or not the, you're less likely to cut them loose, and you're more tolerant maybe than you should be, because you need you need officers. So now we're going to put up with the bad ones who mess everything up for the good ones, because of we have nobody that wants to be police right now, because there's this stigma. Okay, this is a national problem. This is not him. It's a national thing. After the Derek Chauvin thing, what should have happened is you got a pendulum basically that has swung all the way to the left, and there's a lot of corruption, and there's a lot of stuff going on that shouldn't be going on in a police department and in a prosecutor's office, and then a corrective event happens, like the George Floyd murder. Okay, then you got, and the reaction to it was defund cops, get rid of them. They're not serving us, the public, and they're supposed to be. And we don't have to put up with that shit, and we're not going to, so defund them. Well, that's an extreme solution. It is a problem, but that's not the solution. That's a completely, really extreme solution set in motion by the corrective event of George Floyd's murder. So the pendulum swings all the way back to the right, and you hope that over time it corrects right back down to the middle where it should be. Only this time it went all the way back to the left. So, because the solution was not an effective solution. It was stupid. You can't defund police. We need police. But how can we make the system better? It's not Chief Franklin's fault. It's a national problem. People don't like police. People want to know police are going to show up and do their job for you. And then that's part one of it. It's not the only thing. They do need to get it right so that when they take it to the prosecutor can prosecute it. And if they did a slipshod job, like we saw with O.J. Simpson, it's not going to work. They're not going to get a guilty verdict. It has to have the T's crossed and the I's dotted. Just like that. The cop has to do his work right and properly collect the evidence and follow protocol rules and do all his, make sure he or she has all their shit together and then take it to the prosecutor, because it's not just what he thinks, he has to prove it. And they have to prove it in a court beyond reasonable doubt. And they don't. Sometimes, like we saw that with O.J., and that's why O.J. got out of jail after he murdered his wife. And in this country, by the way, we can say, based on what I've seen, in my opinion, O.J. murdered his wife. Whether he was found guilty or acquitted or not, we have the right to an opinion, and we have the right to express it. And in my opinion, based on what I've seen and what I know of Charles Perry and David Roberson and Calvin and Lucius and Mr. Betancourt, they are the worst of the worst, sick, twisted sex offender cop killers I've ever seen in my life. Short of John Cooey. Short of BTK. And maybe right in there equal to. Absolutely disgust every person who's normal in a way you cannot imagine. There are 99.9% of us who do not understand the 0.1% of you who cannot behave civilized like the rest of us can, and whose conduct is deeply offensive and disgusting and makes us all want to throw up. You have done the unimaginable, and you don't care. And I know that, and everyone knows I know that, and if I suddenly disappear, you honestly think nobody will suspect a thing? Yeah, you're living on planet stupid if you think that. So that's my opinion based on what I've seen. I don't have to use the word allegedly. Based on what I've seen, based on recordings of you I've heard over 10 years period of time, based on what I've seen you do right in front of me or to me, that were in line with those recordings, you're human traffickers, you're sex offenders, you're cop killers, you're pedophiles, and you have no control or no power over your weirdo problems. And you got connections to the drug cartel, and we don't give a fuck about the drug cartel. That's your problem. We care about the kids and the women whose lives you're blowing up. We care about the Neelys and the Millers whose lives you blew up. And nothing else. Nothing else. So, I'm just saying, okay, now, what we know is David Roberson has often called his people at TPD and said, pull people over. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. So he's running, in some ways, Oklahoma law enforcement. If he can make a phone call and have an officer completely disregard the law, disregard the life and safety and well-being of the victim he's about to pull over and harass on behalf of Mr. Roberson. And he's going to do it. He works for David, not the people. We would like, I've said many times, for Chief Franklin to run the police department, not David Roberson. And then the public doesn't feel safe, and they're dissatisfied. Officers feel good about what they do when they feel like they're making a difference. So I've compared it to like a racehorse. So there was a racehorse in Roswell named Easy Jet. My dad bred that horse to my horse, and she had a colt, and he was the son of this racehorse. So if I've read that if you don't race a racehorse, they literally go mad. Well, he didn't. My dad did not take care of that horse. He did not race that horse, and he literally went mad. Fucking try to kill you. That horse would try to kill you. And they had to put him down. Okay, if somebody wants to be a cop, they have to have a certain makeup about their personality. Like if you want a chocolate cake or a strawberry cake or whatever kind of cake you want, or cherry pie, whatever, it's going to have certain ingredients in it to be a cherry pie. A person has to have the certain ingredients within them to be a surgeon. I could not be a surgeon. I have no desire to be a surgeon. So a person that is a surgeon or a cherry pie, for example, has to have those ingredients in it. And God himself makes that. It's not up to you and I. Same thing with police. If you want to be a police, not for everybody. If you want to be a police officer, you have to have certain qualities about you. They test you to make sure you have those qualities, and before they hire you. And then, part of that is involving. You see people are hurting due to crime. You want to make the hurt go away by stopping the criminal. Believe, as lawmen and women, my granddad said, he said, as lawmen, we are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. Period. That's your job. So, how frustrating it must be when they're trying to do that, and the next thing they know, they get 2-year deferred sentence. Jesus. Or a slap on the wrist, as this officer said, and sent back out to do it again. Or you got corrupt billionaire boys club running the police in Oklahoma and Texas. Okay, society is to be civilized, and we do not tolerate that shit anymore. We don't. We want to believe that as time goes on, societies evolve to become better, not more corrupt, not worse. We want to provide a better, safer world for our children and grandchildren to live in than it was when we got here, and that is not the case at all now because of people like you and because of systems we have in place that are failing. And if David Roberson kills Chief Miller and frames Mike Neely, and he's trying to kill me, and he's trying to put me in a dungeon, and trying to arrest me, and trying to make me go broke, him and Charles, to force me to say or do something, I will not do it. I will not do it. I know that at any moment, I could walk out my door and have a bullet in my head. I know that. I'm completely aware of the danger. So is everyone else. So do you not think people are sick and tired of feeling that fear? And when you're gone, we don't have to feel that fear anymore. Police can be the racehorses they were bred to be. The racehorses God created, they can run. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to evolve into a perfect system all of a sudden when you're gone. But it'll go a long way to make things better in Oklahoma and Texas. It just will. All you guys do is have little meetings and how you can ruin people and how you can hurt people to get your way. And you're in a position and you're a burden everybody wants gone. And the evidence of that is we're getting the help and you're not. You get told on. When you do the crime to me, this little stunt you played with my banking is going to kick your ass in ways I'm not even, Houston compound. You were in my school, you got the Houston compound. Okay? And that's all. I'm not even going to get into details on that. That's all I'm going to say. The more you do the crime to me, the more you get caught. And not one of you has figured out why that is yet. You're seeing things you've not seen before, and nobody has figured out why that's happening. The next thing I'm going to clarify is where I work now. There's very little that you can say that you don't know from illegal means. Voyeurism, illegal access of an electronic device and use. I'll just leave it at that. The owner is not involved in human trafficking. His business is being used for their business. We're watching every fucking thing that goes on in that place all the time. And you know that. I'm being watched. So the stunt you pulled with my banking is going to kick your ass. It just is. Look back over history. You can predict future outcomes by the past events. We have quoted you every day for 10 years. You're sitting there having a meeting. We can't get her driver's license because she found out we want it and what we're going to do with it. And she's got it pretty much glued to her body now. We can't get her to put a bumper sticker on her car to track it and wreck it and whatever, pull it over, call it a pullover. We have thousands of those recordings of you guys saying that, Calvin. We heard you say, don't let that go. It was a deposit. Don't let that deposit go through. And now I'm out money. Calvin, that's your fault. Okay. So, witness tampering. He can charge you on witness tampering no matter where I am, and use every act you've done as the act of witness tampering, and you try to. He can do it whether he's in this jurisdiction or not. Where I live and how much gasoline, Calvin, I have in my gas tank. We hear you talking about that all the time. How much gasoline does she have? How much cash does she have? What's she going to do? Does anybody know what she's going to do? We hear all those conversations. It is ridiculous and none of your business. She can't live here. She can't go to New Mexico. Where are we going to make her live? We take her car. We make her broke. We'll go get her and tell her where she's going to live. No, you are not. I'll eat out of you've already seen me live in my car for 6 months and not eat but twice a week and not bathe but twice a week. You've seen it. That was the better deal for me. Believe me. I know what the end game of this is. I will not have to lie, and I will not have to do your sex bullshit. I'm not going to do it. David, you running around telling people if she wants a cap and gown, it's going to be nursing. It isn't up to you. Was it up to you that I know you said that? No. No. You're not living in reality. None of you are. Because you're seeing things happen you've never seen before. And you're still going right back at it. And we do the repeat every day for you. He says it, and then he shows, don't invade her privacy. Don't contact her or her family. And she'd better not be broke. You don't take her money. You take, I take. Okay? You take her privacy, I'm going to take yours. I'm going to have a court order. And you don't know how I got that court order or what it says. But I'm going to get a court order. I'm going to take your privacy too. If you can't take your own medicine, don't dish it out. And don't be a girl about it when it comes right back at you. Period. That's the way it is. He says it, then he shows you. You take her money. You take $30, you take $100, you take $250, whatever it is you take. You're spending millions to get me intel. Is it cute now? Is it cute now? Don't dish it out if you can't take it. I'm one woman with 30 men after me. And somebody made fun of Charles behind his back. This guy, here's the thing, tough guys pick on tough guys. They don't pick on women. He's so pathetic and so weak. He's picking on a woman. And not only is he so weak, he's picking on a woman. He's got to have all his buddies help him. These guys, I mean, we don't even have word for that. I got to move on to something else. All right, so the human trafficking is going on at my work. The owner's not involved in that, and I don't tell him a whole lot. There's nothing he could do. They know a little bit, but there's nothing he could do. Everybody's like, well, he killed a cop and framed his friend, his detective, and we see what he's doing to Cynthia. And so I think I'll just pretend I don't see it. And so whatever, I mean, you're pretending to be his friend and to be we know you guys talk, we know that, but you're pretending to be somebody who's on his side and you're not. And we know that. In the coming over to me and asking to take a photograph of a confidential business document to send where? Where are you sending those? Where are you sending them? Do that one more time, I dare you. One more time. Because you've done it twice now, or tried. Do it one more time, I dare you. Take a photograph of a confidential business document and sending it where? Calvin gets it. Do it one more time, I fucking dare you. Okay, this is all the stuff that we have gotten. Because when we told you You don't invade my privacy. You do not contact me or my family in any way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly again. And I am not to be broken. We told you that in 2020. We told you that in 2020. You get your fucking hands out of my wallet. And I believe that in response to your bribe, Charles, I got a house for you. You can go be a nurse. You can be a realtor. I'll get you pregnant. Can you imagine? Ew. Ugh. What a weirdo. We all, as a team, said, no, sir, absolutely not. You're going to get the club full of, if you want to give something, I'll give you anything you want. If you want to give something, you've taken my money, give it back. If you broke something, fix it. Get the club full of paid customers. Get Tristan and my boys, both of my boys, and Fabian up here so we can talk, and you butt the hell out. Now, I've heard that they don't want to until you're in jail, and they all know you're not going to mess with them. And call them up, and what'd she say? And did you tell her this? And you got the scripts and the role playing, right? You give everybody their lines. Here's what you need to say to Cindy. People are sick of being told when they can talk to me and what to say. I just want you to know that. That's been going on for a long time. We've heard about that for a long time. Hurry up and put them in jail. We're tired of Charles telling us when we can talk to Cindy, Charles and Dave, when we can talk to Cindy and what we're allowed to say or not say. It's none of their business. None of the business at all. Any of the victim have that kind of information? I have it, and you act like you don't know what that means that I have it. It's a big deal that I have it, and you're delusional if you don't get that. Completely different when you do this shit to me. So get Mike Neely home to his family, because we know you can't beat somebody to death if you're drugged and unconscious, and end up with not one injury on you. Red swollen right hand. Well, he had an IV in it. Fix what you break. Get the fuck out. And maybe the judge will show mercy. It's not up to us. There's no guarantee of that. It's a lot easier to tell the judge he's shown remorse. He made it right. He fixed what he broke. He paid her back. So we're asking for a lighter sentence maybe than if he had not. But there's no guarantee. But they will guarantee they'll go at you hard and heavy, and they'll knock you upside the head with all the shit you've done to me, and bury you in the hole you dug if you don't get the fuck out of my life. And if you want to give me something, give back what you stole from me, fix what you fucked up, and get out. Or don't sit there and go, I'll give you anything you want. No, you're not. You're going to give me your bag of shit. I want you to lie for me, or else. I want you to, be sex trafficked, be my prostitute, be my hooker, or else. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Have you met me? It seems like you haven't met me. It seems like you don't know me at all. Because look what I can do. I have help. I can't do that by myself. So who is my team that gets that from you to me? There's clearly a team. Why would there not be? I mean, you're the ones running around calling cops, Mr. Perry. Every time you contact me, you sick little bitch, we get more. Because they told you to stop contacting me. I will never help you. And I don't care what you think. And nobody understands why you don't get that by now. You can't run for dog catcher if we have to say the same thing this many times for 10 years. And it's just not clicking for you. You're not mentally capable of it. You're too slow. Okay, so all the stuff that we post here to kind of document the threat of the day, he wants to win the governor's race. What is this one? Boy, this one about Judy was very interesting. When you contact me, when you invade my privacy, when you start causing me problems, all of a sudden people get mad and they start ranting and stuff starts coming out. And we start getting orders signed, and that's the McNamara email. Look what I said, and he was trying to do a false arrest. This is on every court docket where I filed a lawsuit. There's what he told you to do right there. If you can't understand what people say, then you can't be governor. You can't be dog catcher. If you can't act like you understood what somebody said. We live in a civilized society. You're operating outside of that, social deviant. Your conduct is sickening. It's disturbed. You're depraved. And we are not going to put up with it. We're not going to lower ourselves to your level. And sometimes we understand that you guys run around and treat people like shit because they're not bad like you. Like there's something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. There's something wrong with you. Don't do that again. If you do, you're going to pay for it. You don't intimidate people. That's a witness or a potential witness. You don't do it. We live in a civilized society. You don't have the right to try to bring us all down to your level. Why don't you come up where we are? Okay? 99% of the population, we don't understand what in the fuck is wrong with the 0.1 of you. Okay? So you're in the minority, not the majority. You act like you think it's the other way around. It's not. By the way, we quote you, you're not quoting us. You act like you think it's the other way around, and it's not. We're naming your people, you're not naming ours. You act like you think it's the other way around, and it is not. So, you're causing, a lot of problems. Look at this. People rant when you be cruel, people get mad, and they rant when they're mad. Rant like a motherfucker. We are getting the help. You're getting caught and told on. You're a rejected failure, Charles. Everyone else just moves on. Why can't you? I don't want you. You make my skin crawl. You make me want to throw up. I rejected you and I left 10 years ago, and you need to move on. And grow up and act your age. And quit running around. I mean, what one of these guys said, he's been running around telling people they're in a relationship, and they're not. Falsified documents. He thought he was kind of trying to justify falsified documents by saying they're in a relationship, and there is no real relationship. There's nothing there. He's John Hinckley watching TV, imagining and pretending it's nothing real. It's certainly, Mr. Perry, not real to me. I don't have feelings for you, except I want to barf every time I have to think about it. You make me sick at my stomach. If you get anywhere near me, I'll kick the shit out of you. I'll kick the shit out of you. You have said some weird things that are very embarrassing. Extremely embarrassing. And you act like you don't know there's anything wrong with it. Okay, again, not my problem. But you weren't invited up here. And you're not to contact me and bother me with that shit. Alright, so we got this one. Justified it by there was a relationship and there's just not one. There's just nothing there. Not for her. So, this was interesting deal here. It was hang on. Okay, so I guess somebody said if you were around her, you wouldn't know there's anything that she's lost her entire family. He took her family away from her. Everything she's owned, he keeps her fucking broke as fuck, and that's not listen. That is not the lifestyle I am used to, and it's not the lifestyle I'll tolerate. And I would never date a guy that would impose that on me either. And that's what trafficking does, though. And he said he spared no expense to ruin her. That's not what people do that want to date. That's trafficking. That's human trafficking. So if he spared no expense to ruin her, he's out to ruin her, not after a date. So, he's foolish. Nobody believes you anymore. You think you're bait, and you're not. You're just not. It's not like you're a stud muffin Prince Charming. You're creepy little fuck. Sick and twisted. Nobody invited you here. Nobody. Okay, so this is all, but I guess every time they cause some kind of major problem for me, they all run around, well, what's she going to do now? Is she going to go? We think she'll go now. Maybe she'll go now. And then I don't. I finagle, a way around it. And then they got to call everybody, oh, she wouldn't go. Yeah, okay. How do I know that? Any other victim have that kind of information? Now you got 24/7 surveillance on you, cops. Okay, I don't care what lie you tell yourself. You be my guest. You make it whatever bullshit you want to make up. We get the intel either way. We're gonna do what we're doing with it either way. Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter to us. Your imaginary political vendetta and your imaginary romance and your imaginary this and your imaginary that. And I'm like, whatever. Okay, you can't reason with a crazy person. And you can't fix stupid people. You can't do it. So, you're wasting your time if you try. Believe me, we're seeing that more and more. Okay, so the guy's like, what? Her, these guys. I mean, but you wouldn't know she's going through that. They're trying to traffic her. They're trying to fucking starve her to death until she does what they say. They're trying to smear her so he can go run for governor, and not have the media get access to her. I mean, this is awful to have to live like that. Not only that, but there is a person that she's working with now that may have been involved in trying to kill her. And she's not panicking. She's not hiding in the corner. She's not crying. She didn't go into her boss and say, "Here's what the deal is." Blah blah blah. I've told them about it, but I'm not in there crying. So they're like, "How the hell does she do that?" Because she should have some major PTSD. I'll give you part of my way that I cope is PTSD, panic attacks, and all that stuff is part of what your creative side of the brain formulates. And you need to have it because it's also a safety measure that, like, we all learned to fear crossing a busy street because you could get hit by a car. That's a good fear to have. So there are certain times when you need to feel fear, and it's a good fear because it might keep you from getting killed. So I just, soak in the information going on around me and then immediately begin to formulate a solution. And you can also use numbers. You can do some quick math in your head, and that changes everything to the logic side of the brain. The creative feels, the other side analyzes. So you just switch sides of the brain that you're using, basically. And I'm thinking, what's the next step in the process? What's the next step? What's the next, what's the best options here? And I'm analyzing a problem, and I'm finding a solution. And so I don't have time to panic. I don't have time to spend a lot of time in my creative side. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have to take time to decompress, I guess you could say, and refill my gas tank. You have to. Anybody would. And kind of like just reflect. Take time to reflect on what is going on and what is happening. I'm fully aware I've lost my entire family, and I'm pissed about it. I'm very pissed that my family went behind my back to talk to a man who was trying to ruin me and traffic me and get paid while I'm raped. I'm very pissed off they didn't do what this other guy said. If I have a niece, I think he said I have a niece who is single, and if she came to me and said that this person was stalking her, and then he began to come over to her house, I would have to tell him, get off my property until she brings you. And I'm not going to talk to you again until she's with you. You're a stranger. She's our family. Okay? We're going to take care of our family, not you. And I'm aggravated my family didn't do that. And I think when you're in jail and we have the time and chance to sit down and talk, they can explain that to me. And I think that I'm not going to comment right now on how that conversation might go or if there will be one. I think that remains to be seen. And right now, I am not talking to my family. I'm not. And so I'm upset with them. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I'm very upset with them. Anybody would be in my shoes that they betrayed me in such a dangerous situation that could have been nipped in the bud when I first got here. Had things been handled like this guy said. You got a strange man coming to your house and doing it behind the back of your family member who said this person is hurting me. And so I came here to be safe. And you have gone behind my back to maintain a relationship with him and pushed me away? You're shitting me with this, right? I mean, who the fuck does that? Who the fuck? That's what the guy said. I would never do that to my niece. I would have told the guy that you are a stranger and you're going to get off my property and not come back until she brings you. I'm not going to let you sit here and bullshit me. Okay, she said you're stalking, and so you're stalking until she comes here with you and tells me otherwise. Period. Mr. Perry, listen to me very carefully when I say this. I do not care what you think. You make all my skin crawl. The more you contact me, the more pissed off I get because you're raping me. You are violating me in a very vulgar, nasty way. Without my consent, against my will. I don't care what you think. Nobody understands why you would think I would. You continue to ask me about leaks, and every day I have repeated myself. I'm not told that. It wouldn't help you if I was. You get anywhere near me, I'll kick your balls up into your brain. You got about 20 people right now that are in line right behind me. Okay? Were it legal, I'd shove his teeth down his throat. You got people that mad at you. A lot of them. You are not invited to Oklahoma. All you've done is come up here and make trouble. Everybody is sick of you and all of your bitches. Sick of y'all. The evidence of that is we're getting this. We're getting the help, not you. Okay? Period. Every day you ask me about leaks like you actually think I would help you with that. I have no words for that. I'm sorry. I have no fucking words for that. You're a special kind of stupid. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, PTSD, whatever. I do have some, but I've learned how to manage it with just logic, reason, switch side of the brain. And you choose. The only thing that we can control in this life, we can't control shit. What we can control is how we react to shit. So I can choose how I react to what you're doing to me. And I choose to react like I react. And the guy's like, she laughs when stuff's funny, and she gets pissed off when she should get pissed off when people are trying to ruin her. And she's reacting normally to everything that goes on around her. She's joking around. She's like, I mean, if you go watch her at work, she said you would know things wrong. You wouldn't know anything's wrong. She didn't go crying and whining about anything. She didn't hardly talk about it. I do what I do. And he goes, she's tough as a tough cookie. And I have help, and we do these guys helping me do have a shrink, and I pray, Mr. Perry, when you contact me, he just typed in my other phone, is it the shrink? Is it the shrink what, Charles? Leaking? What is there to leak? What did a shrink know, sir, that you think that they would talk about? Before you ask me again, is it your family? Is it Al? Is it who else? Jim? What is there to leak? Answer that question before you ask me that again. I've asked and answered the question. You bother your attorneys with your fucking questions and stop bothering me with it. I will not help you. Ever. Ever. So, speaking of that, that pisses me off. Mark, control your client. Control your fucking weird-ass client. Get him off my back. Constantly asking about leaks. What is there to leak, Charles? Yeah. Why don't you go fucking get out of my face? You and your weird. Okay, so we got, also, they wanted, the other surveillance revealed that Mr. Perry expects an apology. So if you watch that, she basically apologizes, like, I'm gonna sum it up. I'm sorry you're a fucking idiot, and I had to do your job right for you. Pretty much what she said. I really don't have anything other than that to add. I'm sorry you're fucking stupid criminal with a low IQ and no impulse control, and that you won't just go leave everybody alone. I'm sorry that you're stuck in weird, and you have no control over yourself. That your conduct is very offensive, and you don't seem to get. We are sick of that. We're not going to tolerate it. We're not. We don't have to. Nobody's in love with you. No one's trying to get a date with you. No one wants to hold your hand. You fucking reject. What's happening? We're getting what you just said to put you in jail. That's why we're doing this. You lie to yourself all you want. It doesn't make. We get it anyway. You lying to yourselves doesn't stop anything. We're not running around going, how'd they find out what our meeting just was about? You are. We're getting the help, not you. It's been that way for 10 years. Every time you contact me, it pisses me off. We get a lot more. Every penny you take an eyelash. Everything, the guy said the test is, would there be a conflict with her family or something going on at work? We're not for them. Probably not. So we got a causation problem, that they're causing her problems intentionally, maliciously. And all she's doing is talking about it. Here's what they did to me today. Here's what they threatened me with today. It's very specific and detailed. And you're not entitled, Mr. Bencourt. I don't care what bullshit you tell yourself or whoever. I mean, we're just like, this is something. This Judge Parker, and I know I was friends with Judge Parker, and I'm seeing her be somebody I don't even know. Why is that, Mr. Perry? Okay, look at this. Look at all that. Every time you contact me, every time you peep and creep, every time you cause me to lose an eyelash, every time you pose a threat to me, right? You cost me any loss at all. This banking thing you just pulled broke a lot of banking laws. You're in a lot of trouble. Okay, Calvin? You're in a different ballgame, Calvin. What planet are you on? I have your name. That ought to make you shit yourself. If I just named you Calvin, Betancourt, Lucius, and I've not met you that I know of, and you're not shitting yourself, you're just not all there. You need to get a grip on reality. How do I get that how did that information get from you to me? Yeah. What is there to leak, Charles? Okay, so, look at that. We got that. Every time you cause a problem, I'm going to take her car away from her. Every fucking day. I guess David argued with somebody all day yesterday about taking my car away. Everybody is sick of this. Very, very sick of it. You've caused a lot of problems. You wasted a lot of people's time. How much money did it cost you to get us all that? Okay? All the money that you're spending is buying us intel. Okay? You're buying us intel. That's my card. You get a bumper sticker so you can do that again. You think people don't know you did that? Come on. Come on now. This bus pass conversations. We're going to make her destitute, hand her a bus pass until you can go anywhere but New Mexico. Calvin, Lucius, Betancourt, Charles, is there something to leak? Now he's asking if it's Calvin. Is there something to leak, Cuckoo Bird? Leave me alone. Get out of my fucking phone. Sometimes if I stop these, he's not supposed to know what I'm doing, right? It's voyeurism, and cloning my phone is the only way he can know I'm recording a podcast. It's not a live phone call. He acts like he thinks it is. What a wackadoo. Types it in my other phone like he thinks this is a conversation, but type comments or questions. Get out of my fucking phone. I will never help you. Here's my apology. I'm sorry. You're a fucking idiot. You can't control yourself. Sorry that you're that depraved mentally and that sick and twisted that you've done the things you've done. Okay? Then we got all this. That's the puzzle I got in jail. They can get to me anywhere. Okay? Gotta put Cindy in. A guy actually said it in a phone call. Can you make it? She's at the club. Can you go over there and arrest her so that Charles can announce his candidacy for governor and the media can't get to her? Who all has that recording? Who all is in the need to know? Only people in the need to know have it. But who all's in the need to know? Mr. Perry, you don't. Oh my gosh, he just typed that in my phone. Who is in it? I will never help you. I am tired of repeating myself for you. Stupid. Write it down. You're not qualified to run for anything. With the amount of times people have to say the same thing for you over and over and over and over and over and over, that question, any question, goes to your attorney, not me. Your conduct is very illegal, very offensive. Every time you contact me, we get more because it's very illegal and very offensive. I don't want to hear it. I'll never help you. You ask me questions like you actually think I would help you. Fuck you. You are out of your mind. Somebody said, I don't know when, here's the thing about Cindy is she'll flat tell them what they're doing. Like, here's the hoop. Jump through it. It'll take you right off the cliff. And they all go, oh, okay, and they jump through it. And then they complain they've landed at the bottom of a cliff. Because I'm sorry, but it's almost comical if it weren't dangerous. See that? Look at the dates on these. That's how long they've been trying to get my computer and my driver's license and my car. Well, since 2019, actually. Look at that. You contact me, cause a loss for me, they take, you take. You take, they take. You make one problem for me, they'll make 20 for you. They're cops. They enjoy making problems for bad guys like you. Look at that. There's not going to be an appeal. There's going to be a motion to vacate on fraud when you're arrested. Okay? I understood you wanted me to appeal, and we're all like, why would I do that? See, there's an end game here. We keep telling you, here's the hoop. Jump through it, it'll take you off the cliff, and you do every time. They're like, suit yourself. Look at that. We've got one in Tulsa. We got to make her move to Texas so we can do more harm to her. And then we got an attempt to do that. This was Calvin. This is when we got Calvin's name. In 2021, we have a COVID moratorium, so I can't make it where she can't pay her rent. If you're causing a banking problem and that makes me where I can't pay my rent, you're going to have a problem. Calvin. Banking laws. You broke a bunch of them. Yeah, but you break so many. What's one more, right? Okay, that was on the... Let's do it. Let's get her kicked out on smoking. That was on the 9th of February. On the 15th, the landlord calls. We had a smoking complaint. The guy's like, it's not like they called and said you're too noisy. We're getting noise complaints. It's smoking. Exactly what they just said. Exactly to a T what they just said. These guys are not all there, are they? Our intel is very specific, very, very, very specific most of the time. And there's a bunch of people's names that are involved in this. Yeah. I mean, when you contact me, Charles, this is what happens. When you cause a problem for me, this is what happens. There's a reason for that. And then, here's the thing. It costs no money and no time to just leave everybody else alone. And you don't need a lie, and you don't need a cover-up of leaving everybody alone. So, I mean, we're just like, what the fuck? This is after the threats to my car. They throw a brick at me on the freeway and cracked my engine in two. I did all these car accidents. I just showed. They hit there. The guy was trying to get to the wheel and he missed. Hit me at the wheel. Hit me at the wheel. Hit me at the wheel. They want me to put a bumper sticker on my new car, and we found out about it. They want my driver's license and my computer, and we found out about it. They want to get me. Charles typed in my phone all week. You're going to be moving, am I? You're going to be moving, am I? I don't think it's up to you. When we quote you, is it up to you? No, it's not. So, it's really not your business. You know who never doesn't care? Steve Massengale, Dan Pope, John Steinmetz, Jason Moore. None of them care where I live. It doesn't matter to them. Why does it matter to you? Why are you obsessed with where I live? How much gasoline does she have? How much cash does she have? Why is it? What fucking difference does it make to you? What difference does it make to you? And somebody said we're gonna have Jacob go in there and tell her that she has to leave. She didn't have a choice, and we found out about that. Was that up to you? Jacob has kind of tried to feel me out to see if there's somewhere I would choose to live other than Oklahoma, and I just didn't go with that. I mean, I just kind of looked at him like, "Oh, you're shitting me with this question, right? I think I'm gonna, you know, say anything but what you want me to say. How about that?" And so that's the kind of conversation I'm very good at having. I'll talk about what you want to talk about, but I won't say what you want me to say. I'm an expert at sting ups, by the way. I can do them in my sleep. I will get you to say what I want to know without you knowing you told me. Okay? Just want you to know that. Full disclosure. I will have to explain afterwards what I wanted and how I got it and how you gave it to me every time. If you notice, if everybody watches the body cam of the officer that pulled me over and ticketed me, and the body cam of the one from the other night, it's going to be two different approaches that I use, completely different interaction with those two guys, and there's a reason for that. I'm very good at what I do. There's a reason that I'm in this. I can hold up under some shit. I can think on my toes under some shit. I can catch stuff most people don't pay any attention to. I'll catch it. And I know how to do a sting up in my sleep. Literally know how to do it. I was raised by 3 generations of police officers. I heard a lot in my house about how to investigate a crime, how to tell if somebody's lying. My dad knew Susan Smith was lying the first TV interview she did. Murdered her kids, drove them in the lake. Susan Smith. He knew immediately, and I was like, he was like, she did it. And I was like, how do you know that? And he was explaining to me, well, she did this and this and this and this. So when a person does that, they're typically full of crap. So, I mean, my dad was a good cop. So this went to the U.S. Attorney in 2015 after 2 guys came into my club and said they're looking to just false arrest you. Just find something. They need a smear. Nothing's changed. You're still doing it. You're still doing it. You don't tamper with the witness who's wrong. I appreciate the vote of your your attempts to make me look more credible. I mean, I'm like constantly, I told you so, I did say. See, this was before my illegal detainment. This is before the incident that led to the police report that I filed on the 16th of January, and then a false arrest for filing a false police report on the 21st is when I filed the report, and then 29th they had me arrested for filing a false police report. And I'm like, when was it investigated? When was proper evidence properly collected? When did I talk to a detective? Because I don't think I did. I don't remember. I'm sorry, it didn't happen. When I got home, I had a voicemail from the detective. I need to collect your evidence. And I was like, shit. I just spent 2 months in jail. I don't have any now. Don't you think that's why they did that? Because destruction of evidence is evidence in and of itself. And Mr. Perry is so stupid, he doesn't get that. And I can explain it to him, and he still won't understand. Huntington's disease. Yeah, not all there. This is Mike. It's retaliation for this, too. The more you contact me, Charles Perry, the more we get. The more you peep on me, the more we get. The more of my money you take, the more we get. It's been that way for 10 years, sir. We are quoting you, and you act like you think it's the other way around, and it's not. Okay? You act like you truly believe it is the other way around, sir, and it is not the other way around. We get to help you get told on. Okay? So we get all this stuff before. I'm telling the Florida State's attorney, Michael's drugged. He didn't do it. You got the wrong guy. Well, sure shit he was. This was not public until like June or July, but depositions were taken in May. And the first responder said, we treated him for being overdosed with opioids because that's what the symptoms said he was having. There's no indication that he was hit in the head in a drunken brawl, but he was found unconscious in respiratory distress and dying. Not a mark on him. The detective that interviews him, if you watch the interview on News on 6 or Channel 8 or whatever, Google Mike. I have it. We have it linked on this on the blog. The detective doesn't say you have injuries here, 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 and here, so it looks to me like you beat up Chief Miller to death. He says, it appears he was beat to death. By who? Detective. Because You're accusing a man with not a mark on him of beating. So, and that's kind of what Mike was saying. Look at my hands. I'm not feeling like I was in a fight. And you're telling me that he's dead, and I don't believe you. Look at my hands. There's nothing on my hands. What you're telling me is not possible. It's not only not plausible, it's not possible. And for whatever reason, he was found guilty. I didn't testify. I would have told the jury about this right here. They didn't get to hear from me. And I think people are, I don't think, people are sick and tired of you, Charles. The imposition of your criminal activity is sick. You do not have the right to your crime. You do not have the right to a lie. Your grandiose thinking, entitlement mentality is rubbing people the wrong way, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. See? Red swollen right hand. Well, there's an IV needle in it. But that's what the arrest report says. Right here. It's the one and only injury listed in the arrest report. You have to have probable cause. That's what this, when you go to a judge and say, I need you to sign off on this arrest, here's the probable cause. Here's why I think this guy did it. And there's not any. And there wasn't any for Judge Hanson to sign off to say I had done anything illegal either. So who did that? Who's paying who? See, people don't like crime. It was second on the list of things people want stopped at midterm elections, Mr. Perry. People don't like it. And you seem just not to get that. And if you can't get that by now, as much as we have here, these are the results of your actions and ours. We get the help, not you. You get told on. Then you're not qualified to be dog catcher, sir. Republican or Democrat doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's about your IQ and your mental capacity. Because in order to serve in public office, you have to be able to identify a problem quickly, identify the problem, the cause of the problem quickly, and a solution that will work quickly. And if you can't do that, you're not smart enough to be that, whatever, dog catcher, or constable, or anything, or governor. You're not all there. Alright, so we've got this, this whole block here. My granddad. See, I grew up in the home of an elected official. My family wasn't powered in the town where I grew up. Mr. Perry did not grow up this way. And I think he developed some sort of strange, I don't know. These guys, their minds go places that most people's don't go. And they turn into, they're sick and they're twisted. And people are just, icked out by them. I mean, really. So we're getting the help. They're not. They're getting told on 10 years of this. Okay, so we got, here's the disclaimer. But this is our blog where we, document all this stuff Mr. Perry tries to do to me. This is what police are supposed to do when they get a stalking report, not hand it to the offender, who then obstructs justice and destroys your evidence and commits perjury. Okay? So there's that. And then we got this. This is about stalkers use technology to clone a phone or hack a phone to keep track of their stalking victims, and that would include human traffic victims. We've got the whole human trafficking page. We got perjury. We got my false arrest is detailed on that page. Then we got this. And then actually, the false arrest is detailed on this page. Mike's case has a little bit on it. And then this Mr. Perry's second planned false arrest that started in 2017, also on that page. Right there is his sex trafficking. This is almost like a log of every the threats of the day to try to coerce and force my cooperation into being trafficked and into signing his affidavit lie that he prepared that I've refused to sign, and give him his apology. Well, I did apologize that you're dumb and that you're a criminal and that you enjoy hurting people and that, you don't seem to get how offensive your conduct is and how really everybody just wants you to go away. That I'm sorry for. His, Chief Miller's murder is right here. We went through all of it. I mean, this one here was they solicited prostitution. This guy came in and said Charles will pay you $5,000 if you have sex with him. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Ew. Got Dr. Russell's comments, everything is a stalking escalation. Everything that's bad that happens that Mr. Perry causes is a stalking escalation. He can't control himself. He can't get attention any other way. And he wants to be governor. That's what somebody made a comment. He goes like, he's doing what? He went around Oklahoma and said what? That she's his concubine, his wife, his girlfriend. He changed it. And then he forged a marriage license and a power of attorney, getting into her business illegally. And he goes, what a whack job. He wants to be governor? Really? I don't think that he's qualified for that. I think he needs to be in a nut house. See, you think everybody's stupid and they're not. You are. You can't fix stupid. No, you can try, but it can't be done, really. When you have a question, Mr. Perry, it is highly yuck that you ask me and you think I would help you. And you have an attorney that you need to go to with all that. This is just like the ongoing threats. We'll do a podcast and we go over the other night. I want you, Mays County, I want you to go put her in jail tonight because Mr. Perry needs to announce his candidacy as governor, and we can't have her in a place where the media can get to her. So, and we did the same thing we always do: document it, email it, and there it's at. And then we did say, and your motives are off, way the fuck off. And then your conduct is inappropriate and offensive, and so we get the help, not you. You get told on. Everybody would like you to stop it and get out of my privacy, Charles. Listen, I'm not in a relationship with you. I rejected you. You're in something all by yourself. No woman is trying to hold your hand. I'm not trying to see you. Me make me want to throw up. I moved 2 times and never again have to hear even your name. And you just bother me constantly. And the more you bother me, the more problems you make, and all of it, the more we get, because you're pissing people off. It's enough. It's the fuck enough.
Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them, especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. You need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.